What do you do when you're not sure? That is the topic of my sermon today. You look for God's direction and you can't find it. Last year, when President Kennedy was assassinated, who among us did not experience the most profound disorientation, despair? What now? Which way? What do I say to my children? What do I tell myself? It was a time of people sitting together, bound together by a common feeling of hopelessness. But think of that. Your bond with your fellow beings was your despair. It was a public experience shared by everyone in our society. It was awful, but we were in it together. How much worse is it then for the lone man, the lone woman stricken by some private calamity? No one knows I'm sick. No one knows I've lost my last real friend. No one knows I've done something wrong. Imagine the isolation. You see the world as if through a window. On one side of the glass, happy, untroubled people, and on the other side, you. Something has happened. You have to carry it, and it is incommunicable. For those so afflicted, only God knows their pain, their secret of alienating sorrow. And when such a person, as they must, howls to the heavens, to God, help me! What if no answer comes? Silence. I want to tell you a story. A cargo ship sank, and all her crew was drowned. Only this one sailor survived. He made himself a raft of some spars, and being of a nautical discipline, he turned his eyes toward the heaven, and he read the stars. He set his course toward his home, and exhausted, he fell asleep. Clouds rolled in and blanketed the sky, and for the next 20 nights, as he floated on the vast ocean, he could no longer see the stars. He had thought he set his course correctly, but there was no way to be sure. As the days rolled on and he wasted away with famine, thirst, starvation, fevers, he began to have doubts. Had he set his course correctly? Was he still going in the direction of his home, or was he hopelessly lost and doomed to a terrible death? No way to know. The message of the constellations, had he imagined it because of his desperate circumstances, or had he seen truth once and now had to hold on to it without further reassurance? This was his dilemma on a voyage without apparent end. But there are those of you in this church today who know exactly this crisis of faith I describe. To you, I want to say, doubt can be a bond as powerful and as sustaining as certainty. When you are lost, you are not alone. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, amen.
Come in.
Have you a moment, Sister Aloysius?
Come in. Who's watching your class?
They're having art.
Art? A waste of time.
It's only an hour a week.
Much can be accomplished in 60 minutes.
Yes, Sister. I wondered if I might know what you did about William London.
I sent him home.
Oh, dear. So he's still bleeding.
Yes.
Oh, his nose just let loose and started gushing during the Pledge of Allegiance.
Was it spontaneous?
What else would it be?
Self-induced?
You mean, you think he might have intentionally given himself a nosebleed?
Exactly.
No.
You are a very innocent person, Sister James. William London is a fidgety boy, and if you do not keep right on him, he will do anything to escape his chair. He'd set his foot on fire for a half a day out of school.
But why?
He has a restless mind.
Oh, but that's good.
No, it's not. His father's a policeman, and the last thing he wants is a rowdy boy. William London is headed for trouble. Puberty has gotten hold of him. He will be imagining all kinds of things, and I strongly suspect he will not graduate high school. But that's beyond our jurisdiction. We just have to simply get him through and out, and then he's somebody else's project. I usually assign my most experienced teachers to 8th grade. Are you in control of your class?
I think so.
Usually more children are sent down to me.
Oh, I tried to take care of things myself.
Oh, well, that can be an error.
Yes,
You-
sister.
You are answerable to me, I to the Monsignor, he to the bishop, and so on, up to the Holy Father. There's a chain of discipline here. Make use of it.
Yes, sister.
How's Donald Muller doing?
Steady.
Good. Has anyone hit him?
No.
Good. That girl, Linda Conti, do you have her far away from the boys?
Yes. As far as space permits, but it doesn't do much good.
Look, just get her through intact. Now, let's see, we have,
So, should I go?
huh?
Is something the matter?
No. Is something the matter?
I don't think so.
Then nothing's the matter.
Well, thank you, Sister Aloysius. I just wanted to check on William's nose.
He had a ballpoint pen.
Excuse me, sister?
William London was fidgeting with a ballpoint pen while he was waiting for his mother to pick him up. I hope you don't allow ballpoint pens to be used for assignments.
No, of course not.
I'm sorry I allowed even cartridge pens into the school. The students really should learn to write script with fountain pens. Always the easy way out. What does that teach? Every easy choice today will have its consequences tomorrow. Mark my words.
Yes, sister.
Ballpoint pens make them press down.
I don't allow
When
them.
they press down, they write like monkeys.
I don't allow them ballpoint pens.
Good. Penmanship is dying all across this country. Has for some time. Now sit down. We might as well have a talk. I observed your class at the beginning of this term. Not bad. But I caution you, do not idealize Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was a good president, but he tried to pack the Supreme Court. I do not approve of making heroes of lay historical figures. If you want to talk about saints, do it in religion.
Yes, sister.
Also, I question your enthusiasm for history.
But I love history.
That is exactly my meaning. You favor history and risk swaying the children to prefer it above all their other subjects. I think this is a mistake.
I never thought of that. I'll try and treat my other lessons with more enthusiasm.
No, just give them history without putting sugar all over it. That's the point. Now, tell me. How would you characterize the condition of 8B?
I don't know where to begin. What do you want to know?
Well, let's begin with Stephen Inzio.
Oh, Stephen Inzio has the highest marks in class.
And Noreen Horan.
The second highest.
And Brenda McNulty.
Third highest.
You see, I'm making a point, Sister James. I know that Stephen Inzio and Noreen Horan and Brenda McNulty are the three highest in your class. School-wide, there are 48 such students, and I make it my business to know all 48 of their names. And I don't say this to aggrandize myself, but to illustrate the importance of paying attention. You must pay attention as well.
Yes, Sister Aloysius.
I cannot be everywhere.
Am I falling short, Sister?
These 3 students with the highest grades, are they the most intelligent students in your class?
No, I wouldn't say that they are, but they work the hardest.
Very good, that's right. That's the ethic. What good's a gift if it's left in the box? What good's a high IQ if you're staring out the window with your mouth agape? Be hard on the bright ones, Sister James. Don't be charmed by cleverness. Not theirs and not yours. I think you're a competent teacher, Sister James, but maybe not our best teacher. The best teachers do not perform. They cause the students to perform.
Do I perform?
As if on a Broadway
Oh,
stage.
dear, I had no conception.
You're always showing off. You like to see yourself 10 feet tall in their eyes. Another thing, where were you before?
Mount St. Margaret's?
All girls.
Yes.
I feel I must remind you that boys are made of gravel, soot, and tar paper. Boys are a different breed.
I feel I know how to handle them.
But perhaps you are wrong, and perhaps you are not working hard enough.
Oh,
No tears.
I thought you were satisfied with me.
Satisfaction is a vice. Do you have a handkerchief?
Yes.
Use it. Do you think that Socrates was satisfied? Good teachers are never content. We have some 372 students in this school. It's a society which requires constant educational, spiritual, and human vigilance. I cannot afford an excessively innocent instructor in my 8th grade. It's self-indulgence. Indulgent. Innocence is a form of laziness. Innocent teachers are easily duped, and you must be canny, Sister James.
Yes, Sister.
When William London gets a nosebleed, be skeptical. Don't let a little blood fuddle your judgment. God gave you a brain and a heart. The heart is warm, but the wits must be cold. Liars should be frightened to lie to you. They should be uncomfortable in your presence, and I doubt they are.
I don't know. I never thought about it before.
The children should think you see right through them.
Wouldn't that be a little frightening?
Only to those who are up to no good.
Oh, but I want my students to feel like they can talk to me.
They're children. They can talk to themselves. The more important that they have a fierce moral guardian. You stand at the door, sister. You are the gatekeeper. If you are vigilant, then they will not need to be.
I'm not sure I know what you want me to do.
And if things occur in your classroom, which you sense require understanding, but you don't understand, come to me.
Yes, Sister.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm principal of the school. You stay when the special teachers come?
Yes.
Then why are you here when you have art in class?
I was a little concerned about William's nose.
Uh-huh. Right. So you have art in class,
She comes in, Mrs. Bell, yes.
and you take them down to the basement for dance with Mrs. Shields?
Yes, on Thursdays.
Another waste of time.
Oh, but everyone loves a Christmas pageant.
I don't love it. Frankly, it offends me. Last year, that girl playing Our Lady was wearing lipstick. Well, I waited for her in the wings, that little jade.
Then there's music.
That strange woman with the portable piano, what's wrong with her neck?
Some kind of goiter. Poor woman.
Yes, Mrs. Carolyn.
That's right.
We used to have a sister teaching that. Not enough sisters. What else?
Physical education and religion.
And for that we have Father Flynn, 2 hours a week. And you stay for those?
Mostly, unless I have reports to fill out.
What do you think of Father Flynn?
Oh, he's a brilliant man. What a speaker.
His sermon was quite poetic this
Yes,
Sunday.
he's actually very good at teaching basketball. I was surprised. I never thought a man of the cloth the personality type for basketball, but he has a way he has. Very natural at dribbling and shooting.
What do you think the sermon was about?
What?
This past Sunday, what was he talking about?
Well, doubt. He was talking about doubt.
Why?
Excuse me, sister?
Well, sermons come from somewhere. Father Flynn, is he in doubt, or is he concerned that someone else is in doubt?
I suppose you'll have to ask him.
No, that would be not appropriate. He is my superior, and if he were troubled, he should go to the priest and confess it, or to the Monsignor. We do not share intimate information with priests.
I'm a little concerned.
About what?
The time. Art will be letting out in a few minutes. I should go up.
Have you seen anything, Sister James?
About what?
Have you noticed anything, Sister James? I want you to be alert.
I don't believe I'm following you, sister.
I'm sorry I'm not more forthright, but I must be careful not to create something by saying it. I can only say I am concerned, perhaps needlessly, about matters in St. Nicholas School.
Academically?
I wasn't inviting a guessing game, Sister James. I want you to pay attention to your class.
Well, of course. I'll pay more attention to my class. And I'll try not to perform, and I'll try to be less innocent. I'm sorry that you're disappointed in me. Please know I will try my best, honestly.
Look at you. You trade anything for a warm look. I'm telling you here and now, I want to see the starch in your character cultivated. If you're looking for reassurance, you can be fooled. And if you forget yourself and study others, you will not be fooled. It's important. One final thing, and then you really have to get back. Sister Veronica is going blind.
Oh, how horrible.
This is generally not known, and I don't want it known, because if the rectory finds out, she'll be gone. I cannot afford to lose her. Now, if you're making your way down the stone steps, you see her making her way down the stone steps in the garden, take her hand out of fellowship and make sure she does not destroy herself. You may go.
All right, settle down, boys. All right, so the thing about shooting from the foul line is it's psychological. The rest of the game, you're competing against the other team. You're cooperating with your teammates. But at the foul line, it's you against yourself. And the danger is you start to think. When you think, you forget to breathe and your body gets tensed up. So you have to remember to relax. Take a breath. Unlock your knees. This is something for you to watch, Jimmy. You stand like a parking meter out there. Guys, come up with a routine of what to do. Shift your weight. Wiggle your hips. You think that's funny, Ralph? Yeah, what's funny is you never making a basket. Don't worry about whether or not you look funny. They're not going to think you're silly if you make the shot. Come up with a routine of what to do. Focus on that routine, and you will forget to get tensed up. Now, on another matter, I noticed that some of you guys have dirty nails. I don't want to see that. I'm not talking about the length of your nails. I'm talking about cleanliness. See? Take a look at mine. They're long. I like to wear them a little long, but they're clean. That makes it okay. There was this kid I grew up with, Timmy Matheson. He never had clean nails. He'd stick his fingers in his nose and his mouth. Hey, learn to listen. This is a true story. He got spinal meningitis and died a terrible death. Sometimes it's the little things that get you. Yeah, you try to talk to a girl with filthy paws like that, Mr. Conroy. She is going to take off like she's being chased by the Red Chinese. All right. Settle down. You guys, what am I going to do with you? Okay. Get dressed. Head on over to the rectory. Have some Kool-Aid and cookies, and we'll have a bowl session. Go!
Good afternoon, sister.
Oh, good afternoon, Sister James. Mr. McGinn pruned this bush, which is the right thing to do, but he neglected to protect it from the frost.
Have we had a frost?
Then it will be too late.
Well, you know about gardening.
A little. Where's your class?
The girls are having music.
And the boys?
They're in the rectory.
With Father Flynn.
Yes, he's giving them a talk.
On what subject?
How to be a man.
Oh, well, if sisters were permitted in the rectory, I would love to listen to that talk. I don't know how to be a man. I'd like to know what's involved. Did you ever give the girls a talk on womanhood?
No, I wouldn't be competent.
Why not?
I just don't think I would be. I took my vows at the beginning, at the beginning.
The founder of our order, the Blessed Mother Seton, was married and had 5 children before embarking on her vows.
I often wonder how she managed so much in one life.
Life is perhaps longer than you think, and the dictates of the soul more numerous. I was married.
You were?
Well, you might hide your astonishment.
I didn't know.
When one takes on the habit, one must close the door on secular things. My husband died in the war fighting Adolf Hitler.
Really? Excuse me, sister.
Yeah, but I'm like you. I'm not sure I would feel comfortable teaching a bunch of tittering girls on the subject of womanhood. I used to come in this garden very often. And what is it, 40 feet wide convent to the rectory? And yet we might be miles apart, like the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. I used to potter around out here, but Monsignor Benedict does his reverie at quixotic times, and rightly so, priests and nuns are not supposed to cross paths.
The Monsignor is very kind, isn't he?
Yes. But he's oblivious.
To what?
Oh, I don't believe he knows who the President of the United States is.
Is it that he's innocent, sister?
Oh, you have a slyness, Sister James. Be careful of it. How is your class? How is Donald Muller?
He's 13th in class.
Oh, well, that's sufficient. Is he being accepted?
He has no friends.
Well, that's to be expected. It's only been 2 months. Has anyone hit him?
No.
Good. Someone will. And when it happens, send them down to me.
I'm not sure that anyone will.
There's a statue of St. Patrick on one side of the altar, and a statue of St. Anthony on the other side of the altar. This parish is comprised mostly of Irish and Italian families. Someone will hit Donald Muller.
He has a protector.
Who?
Father Flynn.
What?
He's taken an interest. Ever since Donald went on the altar boys, I thought I should tell you.
I told you to come to me, but I had hoped you never would. So it's happened.
What? I'm not telling you that. I'm not even certain what you mean.
I knew once you did, something would be set in motion, and so it's happened. Yes, you are. You know.
I've been trying to be more cold in my thinking, as you suggested. I feel as if I've lost my way a little, Sister Aloysius. I had the most terrible dream last night. I want to be guided by you and responsible to the children, but I want my peace of mind. I must tell you, I've been longing for the return of my peace of mind.
You may not have it. It's not your place to be complacent. That's for the children. That's what we give them.
I think I'm starting to understand you a little, but it's unsettling to look at things and people with suspicion. It feels as if I'm less close to God.
When you take a step against wrongdoing, you do take a step away from God, but in His service.
I've become more reserved in class. I feel separated from the children.
That's how it should be.
But I feel wrong. And about this other matter, I don't have any evidence. I'm not at all certain that anything has happened.
We can't wait for that.
But what if it's nothing?
Then it's nothing.
Then what's to be done?
I wouldn't mind being wrong, but I doubt I am, and I don't know.
You'll know what to do.
I don't know what to do. There are parameters which protect him and hinder me.
He can't be safe if it's established. I doubt he could recover from the shame.
What have you seen?
I don't know.
What have you
He
seen?
took Donald to the rectory.
What for?
A talk.
Alone?
Yes,
When?
a week ago.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't think that there was anything wrong. It hadn't come to mind that there could be anything wrong.
Of course. Of all the children, Donald Muller. I suppose it makes sense.
How does it make sense?
He's isolated. The little sheep lagging behind is the one that the fox or wolf goes for.
I don't know that anything's wrong.
Our first Negro student, and I thought there'd be fighting, and I thought a parent or two perhaps to deal with. I should have foreseen this possibility.
How could you have imagined it?
It's my job to outshine the fox in cleverness. That's my job.
But maybe it's nothing.
Then why do you look like you've seen the devil?
It's just the way the boy acted when he came back to class.
He said something?
No, it was his expression. He looked frightened. And he laid his head on the desk in the most peculiar way. And one other thing. I think that there was alcohol in his breath. There was alcohol in his breath.
8 years ago, at St. Boniface, we had a priest that had to be stopped. But I had Monsignor Scully then, and now there's no one to go to. and men run everything. We're going to have to stop him ourselves.
Can't you just report your suspicions?
To Monsignor Benedict? The man's guileless. He would just ask Father Flynn,
Well, would that be such a bad idea?
and he would believe whatever Father Flynn would say.
But maybe that's all that needs to be done, if it's true. If I had done something so awful and was confronted, I would be so repentant.
Sister James, you have to imagine someone not like yourself, a very different person. A man who would do this is denied a great deal. If I tell the Monsignor and he is satisfied with Father Flynn's rebuttal, the matter is suppressed.
Well, then tell the bishop.
The hierarchy of the church does not allow it. No, once I tell the Monsignor, it's out of my hands and I'm helpless. I'm going to have to come up with something myself, a pretext. Get Father Flynn into my office, try to force it, and you will have to be there.
Me? No, why no? Oh, no, sister, I couldn't.
I can't be closeted with a priest. Another sister must be there, and you must be the one. It has to be you. The circle of confidence cannot be made any wider. Think of the boy if this gets out.
I can't do it.
Why not? You squeamish?
I'm not equipped. I'd be so embarrassed. I couldn't possibly be present if the topic were spoken of.
Please, sister, do not indulge yourself in witless adolescent scruples, I assure you. I would prefer a more experienced confederate, but you are the one who came to me.
You told me to.
Would you rather leave the boy to be exploited? And don't think this will be the only story. If you close your eyes, you will be a party to all that comes after.
You're supposed to tell the Monsignor.
That you saw a look in the boy's eye, that you smelled something on his breath. Monsignor Benedict thinks the world's sun shines and sets on Father Flynn. You'll be branded a hysteric and transferred.
We can ask him.
Who?
The boy, Donald Muller.
He'll deny it.
But why?
Shame.
You can't know that.
And if he does point the finger, how do you think that will look to this community? A black child? I'm going to think this through, and I'm going to invite Father Flynn to my office on an unrelated matter. You're going to be there.
But what good can I do?
Aside from the unacceptability of a priest and a nun being alone, I need a witness.
What?
He may tell the truth and then lie afterwards.
The boys are coming out of the rectory. They look happy enough.
They look smug, and as if they know something.
There he is.
If I could, Sister James, I would certainly choose to live in innocence, but innocence can only be wisdom in a world without evil. Situations arise, and we are confronted with wrongdoing and the need to act.
I have to take the boys up to class.
Go on then, take them. I'll be talking to you. Hello? St. Nicholas School? Oh, yes, Mr. McGinn. Yeah. Thank you for calling back. Yes, that was a terrible wind last night. Oh, I didn't know there was a great wind in Ireland. Yeah. Oh, well, the thing is, Sister Veronica fell in the courtyard of the church, and she tripped on, I think, and fell on her face, yeah. I think that she's all right. She doesn't look any worse. But I'd like you to, could you please remove the limb? Yeah, oh, okay, thank you, Mr. McGinn. Oh, come in.
Good morning, Sister Aloysius. How are you today?
Oh, good morning, Father Flynn.
Are
Very well. Good of you to come by.
Are we all set for our meeting?
We're just short Sister James. Did you hear that wind last night?
Oh, I certainly did. Can you imagine what it must have been like back in the frontier days when a man sat alone in the woods by a fire and heard a sound like that? Can you imagine the isolation, the loneliness, the darkness pressing in around him? How frightening it must have been.
Well, if one lacked faith in God's protection, I suppose it would be frightening.
Did I hear that Sister Veronica had an accident?
Yes, Sister Veronica fell on a piece of wood this morning and practically killed herself.
Is she all right?
Oh, she's fine.
Her eyesight isn't well, is it?
Her eyesight is fine. Nuns fall, you know.
No, I didn't know that.
It's a habit. It catches us up more often than you think, with our being in black and white. And so prone to falling, we're more like dominoes than anything else.
Am I past the time?
Oh, no. Sister Aloysius and I were just having a lovely chat.
Good morning, Father Flynn. Good morning, Sister Aloysius. I am so sorry for my delay. Mr. McGinn closed the courtyard to fix something, so I had to go back through the convent and out the side door, and then I ran into Sister Veronica.
Oh, how is she?
She has a bit of a bloody nose.
Yeah, I think you're beginning to punch people, sister.
Sister?
Okay. Well, after the incident with, well, of course, sit down. Come sit down. You know, I made a pot of tea. Would you like some, Father?
I would love a cup of tea. Thank you.
Okay, and sister, you help yourself too.
Yes, of course. Would you like some tea, Sister?
Oh, no, I've already had my cup.
Is there any sugar?
Sugar. I may have some here. I put it away for Lent last year. I think I have some. Oh, yeah.
You haven't taken it out in all that time. It mustn't have been much to give up then.
3. Oh, your fingernails.
Oh, I wear them a little long. The sugar? 3, please.
3, 1, 2, 3.
Sweet tooth.
Do you want sugar, Sister James?
Never. Not that there's anything wrong with sugar. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Father, for making time to for us, because we're at our wits' end.
Well, I think it's an excellent idea for us to rethink the Christmas pageant. I mean, last year's effort was a little bit woebegone.
No, I loved it. Oh, but I love all Christmas pageants. I just love the Nativity and the birth of our Savior. Oh, and the hymns, of course. Oh, little town of Bethlehem. Oh, come, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Sister James. Sister James will be co-directing the pageant with Mrs. Shields this year. So what do you think, Father Flynn? Is there something new we could do?
Well, we all love the traditional hymns, but it might be jolly to include a secular song.
Secular?
Yeah, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, something like that.
What would be the point of doing a secular song?
Fun.
Or Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah, that's a good one. We could have one of the boys dress up as a snowman and dance around.
Which boy?
I don't know. We'd do tryouts.
Frosty the Snowman, espouses a pagan belief in magic. The snowman comes to life when an enchanted hat is put on his head. If the music were more somber, people would realize the images are disturbing and the song heretical.
I never thought of Frosty the Snowman like that before.
It should be banned from the airways.
So, not Frosty the Snowman.
I don't think so. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Would be fine, I suppose. The parents would like it. May I ask what you're writing down with that ballpoint pen?
Oh, it's nothing. An idea for a sermon.
You had one just now?
I get them all the time.
What is the idea?
Intolerance.
Would you like some more tea, Father?
Not yet. I think a message of the Second Ecumenical Council was that the church needs to take on a more familiar face, reflect the local community. We should sing a song from the radio every now and then. Maybe take the kids out for ice cream.
Ice cream?
Yes, maybe take the boys on a camping trip. We should be friendlier. The children and their parents should see us as members of their family, not as some emissaries from Rome. I think the Christmas pageant should be charming, like a community theater doing a play.
But we are different, and they expect us to be different.
Why? Because of our vows.
Precisely.
Well, I don't think we're that different. You know, I will take some more tea. Thank you, sister.
They think we're different. The working people of this parish trust us to be different.
I think we're getting a little bit off topic.
Yes, you're right. Back to it. The Christmas pageant. We must be careful how Donald Muller is used.
Oh, easy there, sister. Don't spill.
Yes, Father.
I'm sorry, what about Donald Muller?
We must be careful in the pageant that we neither hide Donald Muller nor put him forward.
Because of the color of his skin.
Precisely.
Why?
Come, Father, you're being disingenuous.
I think he should be treated like every other child in this school.
Oh, well, you singled him out yourself for special attention. You held a private meeting with him at the rectory. So a week ago?
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Donald Muller. Donald Muller, the boy, acted strangely when he returned to class.
He did.
When he returned from the rectory. A little odd, yes.
Can you tell us why?
How did he act strangely?
I'm not sure how to explain it. He laid his head on the desk in this most peculiar way.
And you had some impression.
Yes.
And he had just come from the rectory, so you're asking me if I know anything about it.
That's it.
Did you want to discuss the Christmas pageant? Is that why I'm here, or is this what you wanted to discuss?
This.
Well, I'm a little uncomfortable.
Why?
Why do you think? Something about your tone.
I would prefer a discussion of fact rather than tone.
Well, sister, if I had judged my conversation with Donald Muller to be of any concern to you, I would have sat you down and talked to you about it. But I did not judge it to be of concern to you.
Perhaps you are mistaken in your understanding of what concerns me. The boy is in my school, and his well-being is my responsibility.
His well-being is not at issue.
I am not satisfied that this is true. He was upset when he returned to class.
Did he say something?
No.
What happened in the rectory?
Happened? Nothing happened. I had a talk with a boy.
About what?
It was a private matter.
He's 12 years old. What could be private?
I'll say it again, sister. I object to your tone.
This is not about my tone or your tone. Father Flynn, it's about arriving at the truth.
Of what?
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You're controlling the expression on your face right now, aren't you?
My face. You said you wanted to talk about the Christmas pageant, sister. That's why I'm here. Am I to understand that you brought me all the way down here to confront me in some way? This is outrageous. I'm not answerable to you.
I'm not accusing you of anything, Father Flynn. I'm asking you to tell me what happened in the rectory.
Well, I don't wish to discuss this at all further. And if you're dissatisfied with that, I suggest you speak to the Monsignor. I can only imagine this unfortunate incident is the result of your overwork. Maybe a leave of absence is necessary. I might recommend one. Have a good morning, sister.
There was alcohol on his breath. When he returned from his meeting with you,
Alcohol.
I did smell it on his breath.
Can't you let this
well,
alone? Can't you let this alone?
no.
I see there's no other way around this.
Take your time, Father. Would you like some more tea?
You should have left this alone.
Not possible.
Donald Muller served on the altar boys last Tuesday morning. After Mass, Mr. McGinn caught him in the sacristy drinking altar wine. When I found out, I sent for the boy. There were tears. He begged not to be removed from the altar boys, and I took pity on him. I told him, as long as no one else found out, I would allow him to stay on.
And if
What a relief. That explains everything. Oh, thanks be to God. Oh, see, sister, he cleared it all up.
I talk to Mr. McGinn,
By all means, talk to Mr. McGinn, but now that the boy's secret is out, I'm going to have to remove him from the altar boys, and I think that's too bad. That is what I was trying to avoid.
You were trying to protect the boy.
That's right.
I might have done the same thing. Is there any way that Donald could stay on the altar boys?
no. If the boy drank altar wine, he can't continue as an altar boy.
No, of course, you're right. I'm not the disciplinarian you are. And he is the only Negro in this school. That did affect my thinking in the matter. It will be commented on that he is no longer serving on the altar boys. It's a public matter. A certain ignorant element of our parish will be confirmed in their beliefs.
He must be held to the same standards as the others.
Of course. Did you need to discuss the pageant, or was that just...
No. This was the issue.
Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Then I'll be going. I have some writing to do.
What are you? What are you
Intolerance. I'm not pleased with how you handled this, sister. The next time you're troubled with dark ideas, I suggest you speak to the Monsignor.
Well, what a relief. He cleared it all up.
You believe him?
Of course.
Isn't it more that it's easier to believe him?
But we can corroborate his story with Mr. McGinn's.
Yes. These types of people are clever. They're not so easily undone.
Well, I'm convinced.
No, you're not. You just want things to be resolved so you can have your simplicity back.
I want no further part of this.
I'll bring him down, with or without you.
How can you be sure he's lying?
Experience!
You just don't like him. You don't like it that he uses a ballpoint pen. You don't like it that he takes 3 lumps of sugar in his tea, and you don't like it that he likes Frosty the Snowman, and you're letting all of this convince you of something terrible, just terrible. Well, I like Frosty the Snowman, and I think it's nice that this school weren't run like a prison. And I think it's good that I love to teach history, and I might inspire my students to love it too. And if you judge that to mean that I'm not fit to be a teacher, then so be it.
Sit down. In ancient Sparta, important matters were decided by who shouted the loudest. Fortunately, we are not in ancient Sparta. Now, do you honestly feel that the students in this school are treated like inmates in a prison?
No, I don't. Actually, by and large, they all seem fairly happy. But they are uniformly terrified of you.
Yes, and that's how it should be. Sit there a minute. Oh, hello, this is Sister Aloysius Bouvier. Yes, the principal of St. Nicholas? Is this Mrs. Muller? I'm calling about your son, Donald, and I would like you and your husband to come to my office for a little talk. What would be convenient?
A woman was gossiping with a friend about a man she hardly knew. Now, I know none of you have ever done this before. And that night she had a dream. A great hand appeared over her and pointed down at her. She was immediately seized by an overwhelming sense of guilt. And the next day, she went to confession and got the old parish priest, Father O'Rourke. She told him the whole thing. "Is God," she asked the old man, "was that the hand of the Almighty pointing down at me? Should I be asking your absolution? Father, tell me, have I done something wrong?" "Yes," said Father O'Rourke. "Yes, you ignorant, badly brought up female. You have borne false witness against your neighbor. You have played fast and loose with his reputation, and you should be heartily ashamed." So the woman said she was sorry and asked for forgiveness. "Not so fast," says O'Rourke. "I want you to go home, take a pillow up to your roof, and cut it open with a knife, then return here to me." So the woman went home, took a pillow off of her bed, a knife out of the drawer, went up the fire escape to the roof, and stabbed the pillow. The next day, she returned to Father O'Rourke as instructed. "Did you gut the pillow with the knife?" he asked. "Yes, Father." "And what was the result?" "Feathers," she said. "Feathers," he responded. "Feathers, feathers everywhere, Father." "Now, I want you to go back and gather up every last feather that flew out on the wind." "Well," she said, it can't be done. I don't know where they all went. The wind took them everywhere." "And that," said Father O'Rourke, "is gossip." In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Good afternoon, Sister James.
Good afternoon, Father.
What is that bird complaining about? What kind of bird is that? A starling? A grackle?
A crow?
Of course it is. I'm sorry, are you praying? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm not praying, no.
You seem subdued.
I can't sleep.
Why not?
Bad dreams? Actually, one bad dream, and I haven't been able to sleep right ever since.
What about?
I'm looking into a mirror, and I see darkness where my face should be. It frightens me.
I can't sleep on occasion.
No? Do you see that big hand pointing a finger at you?
Yes, sometimes.
Was your sermon directed at anyone in particular?
What do you think?
Did you make up that story about the pillow?
Yes. You make up little stories to illustrate. It's in the tradition of the parable.
Aren't the things that actually happen in life more worthy of interpretation than a made-up story?
No. What happens in real life is beyond interpretation. The truth, it makes for a lousy sermon. It tends to be confusing. It lacks any real clear conclusion.
I received a letter from my brother in Maryland yesterday. He is very sick.
Maybe you should go and be with him.
I can't leave my class.
How is Donald Mahler doing?
I don't know.
You don't see him?
I see him every day, but I don't know how he's doing. I don't know how to judge these things now.
I actually stopped speaking to him out of fear of it being misunderstood. Isn't that a shame? I actually avoided him when I might have passed him in the hallway the other day. He doesn't understand why. I noticed you didn't come to me for confession.
No, I went to Monsignor Benedict. He's very kind.
I wasn't.
It wasn't that. As you know why.
You're against me.
No.
You're not convinced.
It's not for me to be convinced one way or another. It's Sister Aloysius.
Are you just an extension of her?
She's my superior.
Yeah, but what about you?
I wish I knew nothing whatever about it. I wish the idea never entered my mind.
How did it enter your mind?
Sister Aloysius.
See, I feel as if my reputation is being damaged through no fault of my own, but I'm reluctant to take the steps necessary to repair it out of fear of doing further harm. It's frustrating, I can tell you that.
Is it true?
What?
You know what I'm asking.
No, it's not true.
I don't know what to believe.
How could you take sides against me like that?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I've done nothing wrong. The most innocent actions can appear sinister to the poisoned mind. I had to throw that poor boy off the altar. He is devastated. The only reason I haven't gone to the Monsignor is that I don't want to tear this school apart. Sister Aloysius would most certainly lose her position as principal if I made her accusations known. Since they're baseless, you might lose your position as well.
Are you threatening me?
What do you take me for? No.
I want to believe you.
Then do. It's as simple as that.
It's not for me to be convinced.
I don't have anything to prove to her.
She's determined.
To what?
Protect the boy.
It's me that cares about that boy, not her. Has she ever reached out a hand to him or to any other child in this school? She is like a block of ice. These children need warmth, kindness, understanding, but what does she give them? Rules. That black boy is not going to make it here unless he has a helping hand. But if she has it her way, he's going to be left to his own undoing. Why do you think he was in the sacristy that day drinking altar wine? He's in trouble. She sees me talking in a human way to these children, and she automatically assumes there must be something wrong with it, something dirty. Well, I'm not going to let her keep this parish in the Dark Ages, and I'm not going to let her destroy my spirit of compassion.
I'm sure that's not
I
her intent.
care about this school.
I know you do.
Like you care about your class. You love them, don't you?
Yes.
It's natural. How else would you relate to children? I can look at your face and see your philosophy. It's kindness.
I don't know. I mean, of course.
What is Sister Aloysius's philosophy, do you suppose?
I don't have to suppose. She's told me. She discourages warmth. She suggests I be more formal.
There are people, Sister James, who will try to take away your humanity, who will tell you that the light in your heart is a weakness, that your soft feelings betray you. I don't believe that. It is an old tactic of the cruel to kill kindness in the name of virtue. Don't believe it. There is nothing wrong with love.
Of course not.
Have
but
you forgotten that that was the message of the Savior to us? Love, not suspicion, fear, or disbelief. Love of people. Have you found Sister Aloysius to be a positive inspiration?
I don't want to misspeak. But no. She's taken away my joy of teaching. And I love teaching more than anything.
It's all right. It's going to be all right.
I feel as if everything is upside down.
Isn't it, though? There are times in life when we feel lost. You're not alone with it. It happens to most of us.
A bond. I better go in.
I'm sorry your brother is ill.
Thank you, Father Flynn. I don't believe it.
You don't?
No.
Thank you. Thank you, sister. I can't tell you what a great relief that is. Thank you very much. You be quiet. Sorry.
Come in. Mrs. Muller,
Yes,
come in.
I thought I might have had the wrong day when you didn't answer the door.
Oh, well, just between you and I was listening to this transistor radio that I confiscated from one of the children. And it's tiny. Look how tiny it is, and it has an earpiece. I used to listen all the time.
You like music?
Not really. It was news reports. I used to listen to them all the time when my husband was in Italy and the war. When I came into possession of this little radio, I found myself doing it all over again.
You were a married woman?
Yes. But then he was killed. Now, is your husband coming?
Couldn't get off work.
Oh, well, I suppose that was a lot to ask.
How's Donald doing?
He's passing all his subjects. He has average grades.
Oh, good. He was upset about getting taken off the altar boys.
Yeah. Did he explain why?
He said he was caught drinking wine.
That is the reason.
Well, that seems fair, but he's a good boy, sister. He fell down there, but he's a good boy pretty much down the line, and he knows what an opportunity he has here. I think the whole thing was just a bit much for him.
Let's see.
The whole thing, meaning he's the only colored here. He's the first in this school. That'd be a lot for a boy.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. I suppose it is, but he has to do the work.
He is.
Of course,
He is doing it though, right?
Yes, he's getting by and he's getting through. How is he at home?
His father beat the hell out of him over that wine.
No, he shouldn't do that.
You don't tell my husband what to do, you just stand back. He didn't want Donald to come here.
Why not?
Thought he'd have a lot of trouble with the other boys, but that hasn't really happened as far as I can make out.
Good.
That priest, Father Flynn, been watching out for him.
Yes. Have you met Father Flynn?
Not exactly, no. I seen him on the altar, but I haven't met him face to face. No, just, heard from Donald.
What does he say?
Father Flynn, Father Flynn. He looks up to him. That man gives him his time, which is what the boy needs.
Mrs.
He
Muller.
needs that.
We may have a problem.
Well, I thought you must have had a reason for asking me to come in. Principal's a big job. If you stop your day to talk to me, must be something. I just want to say, though, it's just till June.
Excuse me?
Whatever the problem is, Donald just has to make it here till June, then he's off into high school.
Right.
If Donald can graduate from here, then he has a better chance of getting into a good high school, and that would mean an opportunity at college. I believe he has the intelligence, and he wants it too.
I don't see anything at this time standing in his way of his graduating with his class.
Well, that's all I care about. Anything else is all right with me.
I doubt that.
Try me.
I'm concerned about the relationship between Father Flynn and your son.
You don't say. Concerned? What do you mean, concerned?
Well, it might not be right.
Uh-huh. Well, there's something wrong with everybody. Isn't that so? Got to be forgiven.
I'm concerned, to be frank, that Father Flynn may have made advances on your son.
May have made?
I can't be certain.
No evidence?
No.
Well, maybe there's nothing to it.
I think there is something to it.
Well, I prefer to not see it that way, if you don't mind.
I can understand that this is hard to hear. I think Father Flynn gave Donald that wine to drink.
Why would he do that?
Has Donald been acting strangely?
No.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
He's been himself.
All right.
Look, sister, I don't want any trouble, and I feel like you're on a march somehow.
What's this? What's that? What?
Not to be disagreeing with you, but if we're talking about something floating around between this priest and my son, that ain't my son's fault.
I'm not suggesting it is.
He's just a boy.
I know.
12 years old. If somebody should be taking blame for anything, it should be the priest, not the boy.
I agree with you completely.
You're agreeing with me, but I'm sitting in the principal's office talking about my son. Why isn't the priest in the principal's office, if you know what I'm saying? And you'll excuse me for bringing it up.
You're here because I'm concerned about Donald's welfare.
You think I'm not?
Of course you are.
Let me ask you something. You honestly think that priest gave Donald the wine to drink?
Yes, I do.
Then how come my son got kicked off the altar boys if it was the man that gave it to him?
The boy got caught and the man didn't.
How come the priest didn't get kicked off the priesthood?
He's a grown man, educated, and he knows what's at stake. It's not so easy to pin someone like that down.
So you give my son the whole blame. No problem my son getting blamed and punished. That's easy. You know what that is.
Probably you should let me talk. I think you're getting upset.
That's because that's the way it is. You're just finding out about it, but that's the way it is and the way it's been, sister. You're not going up against no man in a robe and win, sister. He's got the position.
And he's got your son.
Let him have him then.
What?
It's just till June.
Do you know what you're saying?
know more about it than you.
I believe this man is making advances on your son.
I don't know.
He's creating an improper relationship with your son.
I don't know. Why you need to know a thing like that when you don't? Please, sister. You got some kind of righteous cause going with this priest, and now you want to drag my boy into it. My son doesn't need additional difficulties. Let him take the good and leave the rest when he leaves this place in June. He knows how to do that. I taught him how to do that.
What kind of a mother are you?
Excuse me, but you don't know enough about life to say a thing like that, sister.
I know enough.
You know the rules, maybe, but that don't cover it.
I know what I won't accept.
You accept what you gotta accept and you work with it. That's the truth, I know. Sorry to be so sharp, but you're here in this room, and
But this man is in my school.
well, he's gotta be somewhere, and maybe he's doing some good too. You ever think of that?
He's after the boys.
Well, maybe some of them boys want to get caught. Maybe. What you don't know is maybe my son is that way. That's why his father beat him up. Not the wine. He beat Donald for being what he is.
What are you telling me?
I'm his mother. I'm talking about his nature now, not anything he's done. But you can't hold a child responsible for what God gave him to be.
Listen to me with care, Mrs. Muller. I'm only interested in actions. It's hopeless to discuss a child's possible inclinations. I'm finding it difficult enough to address a man's deeds. This isn't about what the boy may be, but what the man is. It's about the man.
There's the boy's nature.
Let's leave that out of it.
Forget it then. You're the one forcing people to say things out loud. Things are in the air, and you try to leave them alone if you can. That's what I know. My son came here because they were going to kill him at the public school. So we were lucky enough to have him come here for his last year. Good. His father don't like him. He comes here, the kids don't like him. One man is good to him. This priest puts out his hand to the boy. Does the man have his reasons? Yes. Everybody has their reasons. You have your reasons. But do I ask the man why he's good to my son? No. I don't care why. My son needs a man to care for him and to see him through the way he wants to go. And thank God this educated man with some kindness in him wants to do just that.
This will not do.
It's just till June. Some things aren't black and white.
And sometimes there are. Sometimes they are. I'll throw your son out of the school. Make no mistake.
But why would you do that if nothing started with him?
Because I will stop whatever way I must. I will stop this.
You'd hurt my son to get your way?
It won't end with your son. There will be others if there aren't already.
Throw the priest out there.
I'm trying to do just that.
What do you want from me?
Nothing, as it turns out. I was hoping you might know something that would help me, but it seems you don't.
Please, leave my son out of this. My husband would kill that child over a thing like this.
I'll try.
I don't know, sister. You may think you're doing good, but the world's a hard place. I don't know that you and me are on the same side. I'll be standing with my son and those who are good with my son. It'd be nice to see you there. Nice talking with you, sister. Good morning.
May I come in?
We would require a third party.
What was Donald's mother doing here?
We were having a chat.
About what?
A third party is required,
No,
Father.
sister. No third party. You and I are due for a talk. You have to stop this campaign against me.
You can stop it at any time.
How?
Confess and resign.
You are attempting to destroy my reputation. But the result of all this is going to be your removal, sister, not mine.
What are you doing in this school?
I'm trying to do good.
Or even more to the point, what are you doing in the priesthood?
You are single-handedly holding this school and this whole parish back.
From what?
Progressive education and a welcoming church.
You can't distract me, Father Flynn. This isn't about my behavior, it's about yours.
It's about your unfounded suspicions.
That's right, I have suspicions.
Do you know what I haven't understood through all of this? Why do you suspect me? What have I done?
You gave that boy wine to drink and let him take the blame.
That is completely untrue. Did you talk to Mr. McGinn?
All Mr. McGinn knows is that the boy drank wine. He doesn't know how he came to drink it.
Well, did the boy's mother have something to add to that?
No,
So that's it. There's nothing there.
I'm not satisfied.
Well, if you're not satisfied, ask the boy then.
No, he'd protect you.
Oh,
That's what he's been doing all along.
why would he do that?
Because you seduced him.
You're insane. You've got it in your head that I have corrupted this child after giving him wine, and nothing I can say can change that.
That's right.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. This isn't about wine, not really. You had a fundamental mistrust in me since before this incident. It was you that told Sister James to be on the lookout, wasn't it?
That's true.
So you admit it.
Certainly.
Why?
I know people.
That's not good enough.
It will have to be. It won't have to be.
Well, how's that?
You will tell me what you've done.
Oh, I will.
Yes?
I'm not one of your truant boys. Sister James thinks I'm innocent.
Oh, so you talked to Sister James. Of course you talked to Sister James.
Did you know that Donald's father beats him?
Yes,
And might that not account for the odd behavior Sister James noticed in the boy?
it might.
Then what? What is it? What did you see? What did you hear that convinced you so thoroughly?
What does it matter?
I want to know.
On the first day of school, I saw you touch William London's wrist and he pulled away.
That's all.
That's all.
That's nothing.
Oh, what are you writing down?
You leave me with no choice. I'm writing down everything you say. I tend to get too flustered to remember the details of an emotional conversation, and this is going to be important when I talk to Monsignor Benedict and explain to him why you have to be removed as principal of this school.
This morning, before I spoke with Mrs. Muller, I took the precaution of calling your last parish to which you were assigned.
And what did he say?
Who?
The pastor.
I did not talk to the pastor. I talked to a nun.
You should have spoken to the pastor.
I spoke to a nun.
That is not the proper route for you to have taken, sister. The church is very clear. You are supposed to go through a pastor.
Why? Do you have an understanding, you and he? Father Flynn? Father Flynn, you have a history.
You have no right to go rummaging through my past.
This is your third parish in 5 years.
Call the pastor. Ask him why I left. You will see it is perfectly innocent.
I am not calling the pastor.
I am a good priest. There is nothing in my record to suggest otherwise.
You will go after another child and another until you are stopped.
What nun did you speak to?
I won't say.
I've not touched a child.
You have.
You have not the slightest proof of anything.
But I have my certainty, and armed with that, I will go to your last parish and the one before it and the one before that if necessary. And I will find a parent, Father Flynn. Trust me, I will. A parent who probably doesn't know you are still teaching children. And once I do that, you will be exposed. You may even be attacked, metaphorically speaking.
You have no right to act on your own. You are a member of a religious organization. You have taken vows, obedience being one of them. You are answerable to us. You have no right to act outside the church.
I will step outside the church if that's what needs to be done, though the door be slammed behind me. Father, if it means I'm damned to hell, you should know that. Do not mistake me. Now, did you give Donald Muller that wine to drink?
Have you never done anything wrong in your life?
I have.
Mortal sin.
Yes,
End.
I confessed it. Did you give Donald Muller the wine to drink?
What I have done, I have left in the healing hands of my confessor, as have you. We are the same.
We are not the same. A dog that bites is a dog that bites. Did you give Donald Muller the wine to drink?
No.
Mental reservation?
No.
You lie. Very well, then. If you won't leave my office, I will. And once I go, I will not stop.
Wait.
You will request a transfer from this parish. You will take a leave of absence until it is granted.
Do what for the love of God? My life is here.
Don't.
Please.
Don't.
Are we people? Are you a person, flesh and blood like me? Or are we just ideas and convictions? I can't say everything. Do you understand that? There are things that I can't say. Even if you can't imagine the explanation, sister, remember that there are circumstances beyond your knowledge. Even if you feel certainty, remember that is an emotion, not a fact. In the spirit of charity, I appeal to you. On behalf of my life's work, you have to behave responsibly. I put myself in your hands.
I don't want you.
My reputation is at stake.
You can preserve your reputation.
If you say these things, I will not be able to do my work in the community.
Your work in the community should be discontinued.
You would leave me with nothing.
That's not true. Donald Muller is the one who has nothing. And look what you've done. You let him take the blame.
I've not done anything wrong. I care about that child very much.
You let him take the blame. Because you smile at him and sympathize with him and talk to him as if you were the same.
That boy needs a friend.
Well, you are a cheat. The warm feeling you experienced when that boy looked at you was not the sensation of virtue. It can be got by any drunkard with a tot of rum. You're a disgrace to the collar. The only reason you haven't been thrown out of the church is the decline in vocations.
I can fight you.
You will lose.
You can't know that.
I know.
Please, where is your compassion?
Nowhere you can get at it. Stay here. Compose yourself. Use the phone if you like. Good day, Father. I have no sympathy for you. I know you are invulnerable to true regret.
Hello. This is Father Brendan Flynn of St. Nicholas Parish. Yes. I'd like to make an appointment to see the bishop.
How's your brother?
Better. Much better.
I'm very glad. I prayed for him.
It was good to get away. I needed to see my family. It had been too long.
Then I'm glad you did it.
And Father Flynn is gone.
Yes,
Where?
to St. Jerome.
So you did it. You got him out.
Yes.
Donald Muller is heartbroken that he is gone.
It can't be helped. It's not until June.
I don't think that Father Flynn did anything wrong.
No. He convinced you?
Yes, he did. Did you ever prove it?
Prove what?
That he interfered with Donald Muller.
To whom?
Anyone but yourself.
No.
But you were sure.
Yes.
I wish I could be like you.
Why?
Because I can't sleep at night anymore. Everything seems uncertain to me.
Maybe we're not supposed to sleep so much. Father Flynn, they made Father Flynn the pastor of St. Jerome.
Who?
The bishop made Father Flynn the pastor of St. Jerome Church and School. It was a promotion.
You didn't tell them?
I told Monsignor Benedict. I crossed the garden and told him.
Then why did,
He did not believe it to be true.
then why did Father Flynn leave? What did you say to him to make him go?
I told him that I called a nun in his last parish and I found the prior history of his infringements.
So you did prove it.
I lied. I never made that call.
You lied?
Yes, but if he didn't have a prior history, then the lie wouldn't have worked. His resignation was his confession. I knew what he was, and now he's gone.
I can't believe you lied.
In the pursuit of wrongdoing, one takes a step away from God.
I see.
Of course, there's a price to pay.
So now Father Flynn is in another school.
Yes. Oh, Sister James. Oh, Sister James.
What is it, sister?
I have doubts. I have such doubts. We'll pull the chairs up a little bit. Gonna have the Q&A now. Let's pull this up a little bit so we can all see one another better.
Certainly, John Patrick Shanley has given us a great deal to think about in his play, Doubt, a Parable. A parable seeks to instruct or teach us a lesson. And this particular parable has quite a number of lessons in it. And they're worthy of thinking about as we leave tonight. Right now we have an opportunity to ask the actors about how they came to their roles, what they think about their characters. So let's have some questions. Any questions? How about if I start? Julia,
Yes.
how did you come to choose this particular play?
How did I come to choose this play? Well, I saw the Broadway production in 2005, and I found it breathtaking and wonderful, and auditioned for it a few times when they were doing it for regional theaters. And as I said yesterday, Cherry Jones, who was a petite woman with dark hair and younger, they kind of rejected me all the time because of typecasting. And then I bought the play anyway and put it aside, and I thought someday I'll do this play. And so then this year it became That Someday, because I felt that the uncertainty, I can't speak anymore, in the world today it's very appropriate. This play has to do with that, has to do with doubt and uncertainty, and we don't know what's happening in the world, as we all know, right? So that's why.
Julie, how did you prepare for your role?
Well, I'm a huge fan of John Patrick Shanley, so it's something I studied in college, and it was one of those plays that I had always hoped that I would eventually get to be a part of, especially Sister James. But honestly, preparing for it is interesting because Sister James is such a staple to and personal to the writer of this play, because he even says that he relates to her and what she has done. So it's kind of filling big shoes to think that way. And I'm an educator myself, and I definitely can relate to her situation and caring for the students. So I could take a little bit of personal, connection to that. But in general, she has a beautiful heart, and it's hard not to understand that innocence is so precious still. And I'm not exactly innocent anymore, but it's fun to play an innocent person. So,
Sister James!
sorry.
Well,
Are there questions from the audience?
I'd like to ask everybody but Julia how much of an inspiration it is to work with her.
Oh, that's
what? You see, I don't
okay.
see
You're
very
getting a
well, as
compliment.
you all saw. I don't see very well anymore. I have some problem with my eyes, and so I didn't know who was sitting there. But now I recognize the voice. This is Mayor Engelstad, who is our mayor, and he's also our liaison to the Arts Council. So he's maybe being a little prejudiced here. Well, we have a wonderful council. We have Rebecca, and we have Jackie, we have Nancy Bachman, and we have Dan Lees, who's running the lights. Jackie was giving cues of the music. Rebecca was doing everything in the world, plus wardrobe, and,
She won't take the compliment.
I didn't do anything but have the idea to do it.
But
That
Julia
was it.
has passion, and that is something that I think all of us
Aye.
recognize. And there's a reason why it's here, so we are very thankful for that.
Yeah. And then I found this wonderful actress, Gia, here. And
Thank you.
and when I saw the play and the movie, of course, I mean, it's such a great role. And I'd rather play your role, to be honest with you. I don't like playing the meanie, this is not a role I normally would play, but But when you get older, you have to play certain roles. I can't play young Sister James.
Oh, come on
And
now.
I can't play Mrs. Muller. And so what does Mrs. Muller think about her part?
Well, my name is Gia Ware. I'm not from this area. I'm from Franklin Park. And I met Julia through an audition. I got the call. Actually, Rebecca found me on Facebook through a professor from Montclair State University where I graduated.
I spoke to that professor.
yes.
She loved her.
Yeah, and I came down to audition for Julia, and it's a role I've always wanted to play. It's very complex, and there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of weight behind the role. It's very complex, and there's a lot of layers, and it's a dream to play as an actor because it stretches you in so many areas that you're uncomfortable with. And with Viola Davis being nominated just for that one scene, I mean, whoop, that's a lot to live up to. But I tried to not think about her performance at all. I tried
That's
to not
her.
think of Adrienne Lennox, who originated the role on Broadway.
wonderful.
I tried to not think of that and just, I'm a different actress. I'm going to bring what I bring to the role and what it means to me in the moment and play off of Julia. And it's been an honor to work with you and to meet you and the other
Yeah.
actors
as well, Gia.
working on this production. So
It is hard. It's hard to follow. It's like even following. When they made the movie with Streep, I thought, oh my God, and then you don't want to be influenced by it, And, but especially Viola Davis. Well, both Lennox too, I adored. But it's hard. It's very, very, very hard as an actor not to, when someone's created a role, not to feel you don't want to copy what they do, You want to try to make it your own. And that's I think that's more difficult than anything. But you did it, kid.
We have a question.
Do you think that Stanley, in these difficult situations, is trying to more say that, to a certain extent, everyone is at fault, or in reality, no one is at fault?
I think he's made it a mystery. And I think that he talks about that. I mean, if you look at Google things about him, he wanted it to be what it was, doubt. He didn't want what the movie actually added stuff that although he did write the screenplay, but he must have been getting a lot of money for that. So he put in things that take away from the essence of, I think he wanted it to be doubt. We don't really know what happens. And I think that's what he was trying to say about life. I think he wanted it to be a mystery. I don't think he took a stand one way or the other, in my opinion.
Ruben, I'm not letting you get away without
geez.
speaking tonight. Tell us about how you feel about Father Flynn.
How I feel about Father Flynn is very complex. I don't relate to the character that well because I'm not a priest. He's a very challenging character. I really have thought about playing this character for many, many years, but I always had just assumed I was too young for it. And then Julia told me I was not too young, and then she showed me the script where he's actually a year younger than me, and I got very upset at that.
Well, the problem that Ruben, is that, in the script, in the actual ages, in the movie, they cast older. The man was old, Philip Seymour. But it isn't what in the original play, he's 35 years old. So he's 35 years old. Right, Ruben?
You had
Yes.
to tell my age. You had to tell my age.
Well, So we're all kind of appropriate. I'm older, actually, than the character should be, but we won't worry about that.
In?
Thoroughly enjoyed all of your incredible performance. What impressed me, besides the obvious, like so many questions that were provoked in my mind about, the story, is it seems very timeless. I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Exactly.
so long ago, and
Yeah,
it's
true.
My question is, how do you think an audience of the 1960s would differ from today's audience if they were to see this play?
Gee. That's interesting. Never thought of that. I don't think it could have happened. You know, I don't think they could have. I think people in '64, which I remember well, were people were much more reserved, and they didn't talk about a lot of stuff, and we didn't have social media, and we didn't have the internet, and this, that, and the other. It was a completely different world. You didn't talk about a lot of things. You know, your mom would say, you don't talk about religion, you don't talk about politics, you mind your own business, right? Those that are old enough here. So I don't think it would have gone over at all then. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I never thought about that.
Never
especially
thought
'cause the
about
play
that.
is
It's an
written.
interesting question. Yeah. Well, we'll have to go back and find out. I'd love to go back to '64 and be young again. That would be nice. That would be.
They heard as a mother, defended her son, and what his son shows is have so much to do with what's going today. You know, as a mother defending her son, trying to get him to
Yeah, that's true.
school when he was kicked out and also the other school because of his obviously he was different than before.
Yeah.
To me, it was seeing that how the police was trying to protect him and everything. This happens. There's doubts, poison.
Right. Right. That's right.
The issue with the
Yeah.
other one, is it's such an old tale. You know, how when you put a little lie and it goes all over the town, you can get it back.
Right.
Poisons the minds of a lot of people.
That was one of my particular favorites.
Oh, with the feathers,
Yeah.
the pillow and the feathers, yeah. Well, it's true today, isn't it? Isn't it? But especially now with social media and all of that. I don't even go on Facebook. I mean, I'm like, I just can't do that. You know, I just can't. I mean, and it's gossip, 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 right? And the thing is, nobody really knows. Like this play points that out. Nobody really knows. And what Sister Aloysius does, she says she steps away from God. You know, she doesn't tell the truth. She lies. She said she went to his parents, so she's lying. So it's about all of that stuff. It has not to do with, it's not a religious thing. It's this person calculating, my character calculating to get this guy out of here. And I really think, I was thinking about it last night, that I think she's the big cheese in the school, and she doesn't want, he's this charismatic guy comes along, yeah? And I don't think she wants him to steal her thunder. That's what I really think it is. I think it's like she feels competitive with him, which is, you know, very common thing. That's the way I felt it. That's the way I thought my character was. I wanted to get him out for that reason, and I would do anything to do it, and I create this monster thing.
Down instead of building up.
Absolutely.
Instead of building up her to be, you know, your father will be the next superior lying out there. Put her down.
Even when I say to Mrs. Muller, you know, I won't keep your, you know, you kind of threaten her, I wouldn't keep the son in the school. That was very hard to play because that shows you what lengths she would go to.
It seems like if you as a superior didn't like to have a black kid in your school, it kind of, you know.
Oh, I don't think it had anything to do with race whatsoever. No, it has nothing to do with, absolutely not. It had to do with, she wanted information from Mrs. Muller against Father Flynn. More proof, rather than, so she couldn't get it, so she made up lies, right? She made up lies.
And Mrs. Muller is so desperate to keep him in school. There's a lot of layers to that. Him being the first black child to go to the school
Yeah, but
in 1964, because integration just started in 1957.
that's right.
So that's only 7 years, about 7 years afterwards. So
Actually, the segregation laws were passed in 1955. Huh?
that
Yeah.
too.
That I think is very strong.
Yeah.
Strong reason for her to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were sent to private.
Excellent brief, let me tell you.
Not even Catholic.
What?
They
Well-
had to teach me how to do the thing.
It's fun. It's fun to act characters. All actors like to play what you want, what you're not. It's like escaping from the reality of who you are. The actor puts on another. That's the fun of acting. Oh my God, it's so much fun, right? It's so much fun to play, somebody else's life. Instead of your own. You forget your problems. You forget this. You forget that. And you hope in acting you make everybody else forget their problems and whatever, and they get very involved in these people and their lives and what they're trying to do, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well-
it's a joyous thing.
Thank you all for coming. Our actors will come down if you want to stay and talk to them some more. Enjoy the week. And thank you again.